Welcome to the Sport and Society Squad pod, aka The SAS. Each week, we bring you 3 Sport or Society stories to break down and give you our sassiest takes. With those sassy takes, we do want to give you a content warning that some of the language used on the pod may be explicit. We ask that you please just be mindful of where you are listening and who you are listening with. With that, let's get into it. I'm here with co-hosts Wahida and Chelsea. How are we doing, gal pals? Nice
Hi,
to see you after a
friend.
nice little breaks.
Yeah.
Yeah. We missed y'all. I missed y'all. I missed you. I missed everyone. And I'm happy to be back. So that's how I'm feeling today.
Whoa. I feel loved and scream.
There's a lot of love. But anyway, before we get into the playbook for today, I want to go through a quick huddle. We will cover a few sport and society highlights from this past week so our listeners feel like they are in the know with the sports and pop culture world. Here are some huddle highlights that we won't be breaking down in depth, but we think are worthy to note. So in local sports news, our town fave and my boo, Cal Raleigh, aka the Big Dumper, now leads the league with 23 home runs. He's on pace to have the most ever home runs in a season by a catcher. And also,
I was at that game. Just saying.
you were the
And
good
he
luck
hit it
charm.
right to us. We were in a suite right on the, what field is that? Right field? Where he hit it or whatever? We were there. I was like,
What? Okay,
yeah.
here's my beef of the week though, just really quickly because everyone's talking
Whoa,
about
just immediately came
no.
back in that beef.
I
Okay, what's
love
happening?
that you were there. I'm not beefing with you. But beef of the week,
But
I am so upset that the media keeps talking about Aaron Judge and Shohei Ohtani and how they're
oh,
going back and forth with the home run lead like race
but Cal's
when
number
Cal
one,
Raleigh
right?
is number one and no one
Making
mentions
sense.
him. It's so upsetting. I'm like, you need to focus on some Seattle sports. I know we haven't made it to the World Series in ever, but we deserve some love too.
Yeah,
Maybe
put the
this is the
respect on our
year.
name.
Yeah, exactly. Well, maybe
Jesus.
this is the year we do it. In more local sports news, East Valley senior Veronica Garcia, Washington's first transgender high school track champion, celebrated her second consecutive
Cool.
Class 2A state title. So, go
Impressive.
Veronica. I know that there are
Congrats.
haters out there, but she's showing them 2
Fuck those
state
haters.
titles.
2.
2. Go ahead, girl. In basketball news, the NBA finals have been set. We'll see the Indiana Pacers go head to head against the OKC Thunder. I don't know about y'all, but I know who I want to see lose.
Destroyed
The
is
Thunder.
Yeah,
actually
just
the
like
word.
annihilated.
OKC cannot win a title.
Did
Absolutely
any of us
fucking not.
did any of us predict these two?
Well,
God.
no, because we hate them. So I didn't want them to win.
Well, I'm kind
Like
of
they
sad
were the number one seed.
we're not gonna get any more like Timmy and Kylie like content. That was, I'm not gonna lie, it was kind of cute.
It was
Like
cute. It's
There's
cute.
I like to see it.
there's only like at the most 7 more games, so it's okay.
Yeah.
7 more outfits, 7 more occasions.
Well, we can blame that, I guess, on the Pacers, but I'm rooting for the Pacers to win now.
Same.
Pacers all the
Let's
way.
go. Pacers all the way. In more basketball news, New Orleans Pelicans star Zion Williamson has been accused of rape and physical abuse in Los Angeles by a Jane Doe claiming to be his former girlfriend. In addition
Whoa.
to quote, in addition to 2 specific rape allegations, the power forward is accused of a continuing pattern of abuse, controlling and threatening behavior toward the plaintiff, detailed by the Jane Doe's attorney. So, not good news.
Wow.
I think he's also a free agent. I don't know, but that's terrible.
Not good.
Yeah, not good at all. Yeah. In college basketball news, Florida guard Savion Lee has signed a multi-year NIL shoe deal with Serious Player Only. Lee becomes the first NCAA NIL athlete to sign a shoe deal with an international brand. And I
I
think
was just about to
Savion,
ask what the fuck is serious
yeah,
player only.
international. But I think he's also the guard that transferred from like Stanford or an Ivy to Florida, right?
Oh, interesting. You
Go
would
ahead,
know.
Savion. Don't quote me on that, but I think that's the case. In NHL news, the NHL championship match has also been set. The Oilers and Florida Panthers will face each other to vie
Jeez.
for the Stanley Cup. So we're all in finals.
Isn't this a rematch of last year?
I know Florida won last year.
I think. Am I crazy?
I mean,
Should I use the Goog?
you're the
You're
one
a
that
hockey
would
girl.
know. You're the hockey girl.
Let's say like 2024 NHL finals?
Stanley Cup finals.
Oilers versus the Panthers.
Oh.
What the fuck?
So we have some
Look at you.
dominating teams in the league. Okay.
Wow.
Well, maybe the Oilers.
We'll take it.
Do we care?
Well,
Do you have
oil it
one that we
up.
care?
I don't know.
Fuck.
Like, what else are they going to be doing? I don't know.
That's fair. I mean, their name is the Oilers. They set
Oilers.
themselves up for that.
What's the action of an oiler, you know? Do oil things?
I don't know.
I'm sure Tate McRae's a fan of the Panthers, but I could be. No, maybe it was Ariana Grande. I don't know. If she's voting for them or wanting them to win, I do too.
Well, in society news, congrats are in order. This is kind of a crossover. Bills quarterback Josh Allen and actress Haley Steinfeld tied the knot this past weekend in Southern California. So congrats to that.
Wow, we
Ooh,
announced
that
their engagement not too
In
long
like
ago either.
November.
Yeah.
They got to work.
All
They
right.
really
When you
did.
know, you know.
He's having a
Apparently.
great year.
No.
Holy crap. Didn't he get MVP
Well, so
this year?
she, and she was in Sinners
Yeah,
too,
Sinners,
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I never saw that. I can't. I
I'm
don't wanna see
afraid.
Still can see it.
I don't.
I heard it was really good.
I heard
Like,
it was
really
great.
good. Even
Yeah,
if you don't
yeah.
like horror movies, it's
I know,
really
but I'm
good.
afraid of horror.
But I know. But
It
it's not a horror.
horrifies me. Yeah. Okay.
You're
As it should. That's the goal. That's the point of it.
And I
But-
hate it. Yeah, I hate it.
all right.
Well, we can watch it like, as a collective with all your
Yeah.
stuff, like teddy bears and stuff, whatever your comfort items are.
You guys, it's literally called closing my eyes and plugging my ears. Like, should see me in Parasite. Oh,
Yes.
it's not okay.
Okay. Well, you'll like this one. So in Swiftie news, Taylor Swift announced late last week, that she now officially owns her entire discography after trying to purchase her first 5 albums for the last
I think it
several
was
years.
6 albums, but that's my bad.
Oh, well, she owns them. It is also being reported that the purchase was around $360 million. So congratulations to her. That was lower than what it was valued at, right? She bought it
I
at
don't know.
Probably.
Did she?
I think so. I think it was
I mean,
valued at a
probably
higher
because she
clip.
re-released everything and like.
Yeah. Well, here's my question. Since she got them back, is she still gonna like re-release
Reputation and Debut.
Reputation and
That's
So
stuff?
funny that you asked. She put a letter on her website also
course she
last week.
That's the right
and
person. The president of the
she-
Pacific Northwest Division of the Taylor Swift
Hello.
fan club.
Wow, it would be such an honor, but there's a lot. I know people in the community that'd be upset by that. Anyways, so she said in the letter she has fully re-recorded Debut and she likes the way it sounds. She has not been able to successfully re-record Reputation. She's felt like she's like the certain mood that she was in when she recorded that she cannot replicate. And so she's done like a quarter of it and she's not really sure. She's like, if these re-recorded albums that now don't really need to be recorded are of interest, like maybe I'll release those. I think she's thinking about releasing the bonus tracks from them because that's what's been like the fun part. I don't know if we're going to ever get a full re-recorded Reputation.
But now that she has it, then it's like cool. Then I can listen because that's one of my favorite albums. Like,
Yeah, you can listen to them all now.
you
which
can
is
Like the
amazing.
original. Mhm.
you can hear
Yeah.
her this like angst. Like
Exactly.
you can, I understand that. Like
What
she's
songs were on Reputation? Sorry. This is
Bad
like how.
Blood.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
No, what?
Yeah.
No.
Yes.
No, Bad Blood wasn't Reputation. That was
Was that Red?
1989.
Oh.
It's like, look at what you made me do, Getaway Car, Delicate. A lot of it is also like she's upset, and then she's also a lot of it's like a love letter to Joe Alwyn, and we're talking around
Endgame. That's what I was thinking. about.
Endgame. That's like Ed Sheeran in the future, which is a wild combo of the three of them.
Oh, interesting.
But
You made me do. Yeah, you said
mhm.
Delicate. Ready for it. I did something bad.
I
Don't
think
let
I
me.
stopped
I
listening
won't lie,
after
it's
Bad
like
Blood.
the coolest part of one of the coolest parts of the concert. Fire, you felt it. It was just crazy.
Oh, she was
Yeah.
that angsty. That angst.
I'll send you a link to the video later. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. In TV news, Stranger Things season 5 release schedule has finally been shared. Finally.
shit.
Jeez Louise. The
Yeah.
first part of season 5 which will have 4 seasons, will be released November 26th.
4 episodes. 4
What the
episodes.
heck? The second part, consisting of 3 episodes, will be available on Christmas Day, December 25th, and the final episode will be released on New Year's Eve,
What?
December 31st.
Why?
They're doing too much. Also, didn't they take like 5 years to freaking
The last one came out
film
in
this?
2022. Like the first half came out like Memorial Day week. Oh, well, at least I watched it Memorial Day weekend of 2022. 2022.
I thought it was over. I didn't know we
I
were
thought
still
so
doing
too. I
Stranger
forgot about
We
Things.
have a final season.
Also-
Yeah.
Also, I saw a post this past weekend. One of the younger stars, like they were all young, but the little sister just graduated from college or no, high school. Like, why? She's now an adult. Like, she was a tween when they
Well,
started.
I can't tell if they're gonna do a
Jump, like a time jump.
a jump or like. To be honest with you, I can't remember what the fuck happened. I think they're all on the upside down, or so, I don't know. Like, not to ruin it.
I don't know.
Spoilers.
Yeah.
Jesus.
You
Well, if
had
haven't
3
seen it
years.
the last
Yeah.
3 fucking years for a season. The original came out in 2016.
Holy shit! Really?
God, yeah.
Yes.
Wow.
It's been 10 years.
Yeah, it's been a while. It almost took
So-
a decade to get through 5 seasons.
What I want to know is why November 26th, that's Thanksgiving. Yeah. Around then.
Yeah.
Then Christmas, then New Year's Eve. Like,
Maybe
what
they're just
is
trying
the
to get viewership.
rationale?
Yeah,
Like
I'm
you're a
imagining
holiday.
those,
Busy.
yeah, but those are big. Like Christmas Day is a big day where people go to the movie theaters. So is
Family holidays
Thanksgiving.
where everyone's around.
Especially if you don't have like the best family relations, it's like, oh fuck it, I'm gonna go watch Stranger
I'm gonna
Things.
just binge.
Like-
Yeah, binge. Okay. Well, in music news, New Zealand, I didn't know she was from New Zealand. New Zealand singer
Yeah.
Lorde announces her 4th album Version, set to be released on June 27th. So that's coming up. Her 4th album Version. Okay.
It's funny that the 4th album is called Virgin.
Yeah.
You'd think the first, you know?
Well, maybe
find out.
she's born again.
Yeah. We'll
And I
see
think
what
we're
this
gonna see
concept
it
is.
on June
Yeah.
27th.
Well, we'll wait for that, I guess. It'd be interesting to see. But in movie news, Disney's live action remake of the animated Lilo and Stitch movie
Lil
picked up an
Little pump.
picked up another $63 million at the domestic box office this weekend. That brings the movie to its domestic tally of $280 million. Globally, the film is now at a whopping $610.8 million after just 2 weeks in the theaters. Have you all seen that one? I heard there was some controversy around how they ended the story.
Oh, how they
But
ended
how-
it.
How can there not be controversy around a live action? Like,
Yeah.
The live action seemed to
Like-
die.
but it sounds like this one's actually popular. Like this one, people for the most part think it's good.
Yeah. No, I don't know. I think
Oh.
there's a split. There's a split. Like some people are
There's-
like, great, we love it, the nostalgia of it, and then other folks are like, why would the story go in this direction
Oh, interesting.
without
It just
revealing
sucks
too much?
because the first Lilo and Stitch, there was like such a like it seems like the Disney team actually went to try to understand like and actually create a story, and it seems like maybe that was missed a little bit with the remake.
Yeah.
That's all
I
I'm
think
hearing.
that's- I think
don't
that's
know.
what the
I haven't seen
drama
it.
I don't know if I want to. Like, it's meant to be a cartoon. Like, just want to.
I think it's
watch
meant
the
to be a
cartoon.
cartoon is where
Yeah.
I'm at. Where I'm
Yeah,
just
like,
we
let's
don't
leave it
all
at
need
that.
to be like when you've got talking, aliens or
Aliens?
like let's say Little Mermaid fish. Do we need to make it a live action? I don't know. Like there's a little bit of mystery in it just being a cartoon, but I don't know. What a freaking huddle, Wahida! Impressive on your first time back. Like
Yeah,
whoa.
I almost forgot how to do this.
Honestly, I did. But it was snaps for you. But let's get into the playbook. So for today's playbook, we're going to kick it off with a recap of the Variety Actor on Actor announcement. Then we're going to dive into all the latest with the Beckham family drama. and then end with a discussion on how the media portrays women in sports. No, women's sports. Or both.
Women in sports. Both.
Women in sports. Okay, both. But with that, I'm going to kick it right back to you, Wahida, to get us started with our first story.
Thanks, Chelsea. Well, varieties, actors on actors, I feel like typically sets off the campaign season for awards because I think the awards have already happened, right? So this is for the next year.
Yeah, for sure.
For the most part. Well, this campaign, I feel like I can't speak too much to the actual clips because I never watched a full video of them.
Oh, you just see
but
the
I do see the
socials?
clips. Yeah. And I feel like that's enough. That's enough to pull me in, right? So I don't have the attention span to watch an entire video, but I do look forward to the pairings for this year. But before we get into that, I want to kind of go over why this exists and how it came to be. But the actors on actors, if you haven't seen it, or actresses on actresses, I don't know. It's like thespians on thespians, I guess.
Okay.
Whoa.
We're taking a whole different direction. But these are where they pair two stars from current movies or shows that are just really, making a mark during the season. They get to have a conversation, and I really appreciate it because I feel like it humanizes them a little bit because it's not so buttoned up and they're not necessarily being interviewed by a journalist or a reporter. They're talking to each other like they are you would talk to your colleague. So it's really cool because they get to swap stories and they get to share behind the scenes stuff, and they also get just to talk about their day-to-day lives. And it's really cool. So I appreciate that. It's not so designer, if you will. It's really human. The series launched in 2014 and it was hosted by Janelle Riley. And now there isn't necessarily a host anymore. They just pair the two actors together and they just have a conversation. Whether or not they have a script or not, I don't know, but it feels very organic and conversational. So we usually get to see two icons or two up and coming stars kind of chat with each other. I love the seasons where they have an up and coming star with an icon because then you get their little nuggets of wisdom that get shared with one another. But over the years, we've seen a lot of really cool pairings. There's Zendaya and Andrew Garfield. I think that was one that kind of really left its mark on people because they're both so charismatic and they just vibed off of each other really well, like they knew each other forever. We had Brendan Fraser telling Adam Sandler that his comedy gave him courage, which I think that one brought a lot of people to tears because Brendan Fraser was just coming back into the industry, and I think he had a tumultuous few years before then. We also, this one was funny, so I remember this clip of Pedro Pascal laughing so hard at Kieran Culkin, who cracks me the fuck up, that he almost passed out on camera because he was laughing so hard. But we're in season 22, which is wild to think about.
Jesus.
So they do these, I think, twice, maybe a year.
I was gonna say, how the fuck are we in season 22?
Yeah, in
2014.
So I think they do a few of them. But this lineup is really interesting because it has a range. There's nostalgic and new actors, of course, coming in, and some some really familiar pairings too. So I'll name them off, and then I'm gonna ask I'm share which ones I'm most excited about, and I'm curious to see what you guys are looking forward to. So, these go from June 2nd to June 15th. So they're I think release a video every day, just about. But first we have Danny DeVito and Colin Farrell. Then we have Dave Chappelle and Mo Amer, both comedians. We have Parker Posey and Lisa Kudrow. Natasha Rothwell from Insecure. And I forget her Hulu show, the name of it, but it's really funny. And Sterling K. Brown.
Something dead or something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah.
Something dead.
Somebody's dead.
Something like that. Diego Luna and Javier Bardem. Catherine Hahn and Kate Hudson. Then we have Kristen Bell and Adam Scott. Arnold and Patrick Schwarzenegger. Seth Rogen and Jason Segel. Cooper Koch and Sam Nivola. Amanda Seyfried and Adam Brody. Joe Locke and Charlie Cox. Carrie Russell and Scott Speedman. Billy Bob Thornton and Kathy Bates. So that rounds out the whole crew.
Wow.
I'm really excited to see Carrie, Russell, and Scott Speedman. That gives me Felicity, and I know that they're still
Ah,
friends too. So
I love
you
that
know,
show.
I loved it. Yeah, I feel like they already just have so much chemistry because I feel like they dated, if I remember correctly, too, back in the day. So
You guys, I never
really
saw it. I'm
interested.
so sorry.
Baby
That's
Chelsea,
Is
sad
it
for
still
you
you.
out
need
there? Oh, okay.
Felicity.
You
I
can
think
probably
so.
you can find it. I think
Yeah.
somewhere.
Has
I
the
wish there
time
was.
passed? Is that what I'm hearing?
No, I think it's still relevant to today. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like a nostalgia. Yeah.
hmm I'm also really excited to see Catherine Hahn and Kate Hudson. I think
Yeah, that's the
that
one that I'm
pair is
looking
gonna
forward
like
to the most.
crack me up.
Yeah, it's
Like
gonna be
crack me
fucking
up, even
funny.
though they're not the comedians. I love that one. I'm excited to see Natasha Rothwell too and Sterling K. Brown. I just feel like the two of them just jump out of the screen, like so charismatic. He's from This Is Us. He plays Randall in This Is Us, and he was
Mm.
in oh my gosh, what was the Paradise? I don't know if I mentioned
Hmm.
that show. That show, if you have not seen it, that first episode is going to knock you off your feet.
I've heard about that show.
You need to watch that first episode. You need to watch it because it'll hook you. And then also, of course, like some interesting ones. There's Arnold and Patrick, father and
Yeah.
son duo. Danny DeVito and Colin Farrell were both Penguin, like in the Batman
Oh
series.
yeah.
Colin
So,
Farrell was.
yeah,
Yeah, he
he
was
played
super good
Penguin
at
more
it.
recently. Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
And then of course there's Dave Chappelle and Mo Amer, both comedians too. I'm really curious to see how that conversation goes. I feel like the comedians are actually going to end up being more of the serious conversations. That's my prediction. But
I do
Yeah.
too.
I also think Seth Rogen and Jason Segel will be fucking
It's gonna
hilarious
be
because
fucking
those two
funny.
are hilarious in their individual rights, and I'm sure that they are friends or like know each other. Like,
yeah,
yeah, that one I think will be hilarious.
I also feel like Parker Posey and Lisa Kudrow, like not trying to
Yeah.
be funny, will be very funny because they're so
Parker
dry. Yeah.
Posey.
I love it. But who are you all excited to see? Are there ones from past years that you've like that have stuck with you? Um, I don't know. Are you gonna watch an entire one? I just live for the clips. Like I live for the little sound bites.
Do you think they'll? I'm not on social still, so I'm not gonna see. I'll probably watch them, like just in the background of something, you know.
YouTube,
Um, YouTube it up.
YouTube it up.
It's a casual YouTube ad, really here with a click here. No, you already kind of said it. Catherine Hahn and Kate Hudson is like the one I'm probably going to be looking forward to the most, just because I also recently was listening to Amy Poehler has a new podcast called Good Hang, and she had Catherine Hahn on it, and it was so fucking funny. Like, and she's had her. They do something on their podcast where they talk about the guest, like good things about the guest before they come on, and she was one of the people for somebody else. Just fucking crazy energy in the best way possible. Like she's funny.
I might be making this up, and Catherine Hahn and Kate Hudson have been like best friends forever, right? Aren't they
They
like
were in
best of
10
friends?
things.
Have they?
Weren't they 10 things
Yeah,
I hate about
I
you?
think they've
Weren't
said
they in that
before
together?
that. Yeah,
Oh my
but I think
God.
they've been like actual like good friends since back then. So like I think you get that kind of dynamic, which
Yeah.
I love, of like when you know someone really well, and so then one is like asking questions
Yeah.
that you know they're gonna hate, and then asking questions that you know are gonna be like I remember with like the Issa Rae, SZA, and Kiki Palmer when they were doing interviews and asking
Hot
people
ones, yeah.
questions. They were like intentionally asking questions. They're like, "Yeah, answer this question for the
Like
all of the world."
put them in a corner.
Yeah,
And I feel
I
like
love
didn't
it.
Amanda like it's interesting because I feel like in the
some of
past they've
these.
paired people that have never met before, have never like crossed paths at all.
Yeah,
But this
Yeah.
one feels a little bit more intentional where they're putting folks that have crossed paths in certain ways. Like of course you mentioned Catherine Hahn and Kate Hudson being besties. I think was it either Amanda Seyfried and Adam Brody were in like a movie together back in their teens or something, and of course Arnold and
Oh,
Patrick like that's his
they're
dad,
related.
so
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm pretty sure
Well,
they know each other.
I think in the past, what I've seen with this is people that haven't met is what you'll get is like awkwardness or like
Yeah.
do they not like weird vibes, and so
Yeah.
I think having some sort of connection that's like
Colors.
obvious makes for better, I don't know, playing off of each other than
Yeah.
I
trying to
liked
force
well,
awkward situations.
I liked this year when they had like the two biggest movies of the year, which was now I'm totally forgetting Wicked and Gladiator 2. There we go. They had
Yeah.
Pedro no. What's
You're
his name? Pascal?
no
Paul.
Paul Mescal.
Paul
Yes.
Mescal.
God damn. Those two
I get them
really
Pedro
mixed up
fucked me
Pascal.
up.
all the time.
And they like
I know, I'm like,
they starred together too. So it's
Together in the movie. Okay. Paul Mescal and Ariana Grande, like they don't really I don't think their circles are really like intertwining, but they're together because that connection was fun. But there has to be some connection
yeah.
yeah.
of some
I think
sort.
you know what it is? I like going back to this making them feel human, like humanizing them. I think it's just this lineup is just showing like friendships, like because podcasts obviously have taken over a lot of media, and I feel
Yeah,
like
That's true.
folks that podcast together are usually friends and stuff, so they're kind of leaning into that direction
We're
where
not even friends
they're
outside of this. I don't know what you're talking
they're
about.
able to rip like, who are you?
I've never met you before.
We
We just
hate
were
each
set
other.
up on this one day.
Yeah.
But I think, yeah, that's the direction they're going towards, right? Like
That
they
makes
can riff off
sense.
of each other, and it makes it feel even more real, like less prescribed.
Well, and I'm sure
Yeah.
too, as the stars themselves with this, if you want to get good stars, you probably have to have them say yes. Like,
Like
if I
vouch
was
for
just
a
like, you know what, if I'm gonna spend my time talking to another actor, like I'd rather go do it with this person than like this random person that I don't care about and I don't know about, and then you want me to have an engaging interview. That's not gonna happen.
Yeah, yeah, fair. I know that they have
not that
Kate
I
Hudson from Starting Point, Running Point. I really cannot wait for like a Brenda song whenever she gets her moment, because she's coming back, and I really can't wait for her to have her
Oh
moment.
hell yeah.
Our fellow sports girly.
Wow. Wait, so you said when does this start again?
June
June
2nd.
2nd? So
So
literally today.
the day of
So
this
The
recording.
day of the filming of this recording.
so it's already happened if you want to
It's
see your first
happening.
one, if
Yeah.
you're listening to this now.
Okay. Maybe that's what we do this afternoon.
Yeah, there you go.
Any other thoughts? Like before I pull us away to our our second topic, which isn't as
I
like
can't
fun
wait
and
for this.
warm and cute and fuzzy? No?
Are we talking?
Okay.
I can't wait for this one.
Okay, well, I'll start. We're transitioning officially, fans,
Yeah.
listeners, fans. Oh my god, listeners. I'm gonna start though by asking: do either of you know at all what I'm talking about when I say the Beckham family drama?
You're
I
talking about
literally saw
David
one
and Victoria
headline.
Beckham, right?
Yeah.
Those
No, the
Beckhams?
kids.
Okay.
No, well, it's the whole family.
Okay, so I only saw
I have
one
no
thing
idea.
about one of the sons, and then I was really confused, and then I was like, and
Cool.
I don't care.
I think
Maybe
I
I
know
will
which
after
son.
this.
The
What
oldest
do you
son.
know,
Old,
Lahita?
I
the
know
oldest one,
nothing
right?
except for I know the
Brooklyn,
oldest son
Brooklyn.
is always in some shit.
It's
He's
true.
always,
And like
there's
I
always
didn't
something
even
with
go
him.
as far. Yeah, I was gonna say I didn't even go as far as like the cooking drama. Like there's been all kinds of shit.
The
People are like, is he a
photography
chef? Like,
one, yeah.
yeah, he was a photographer, then he was a chef. Like I'm not. I didn't
guys,
even
let him
go
live,
there.
guys.
But yeah, like let him explore publicly for all to see. Anyways, so
Tell us
since we
about it.
don't I'm going to do some background. We're not going to go that far back. What we're going to talk about today is obviously iconic soccer player David Beckham and also equally iconic Spice Girl Victoria Beckham, who have obviously also been together for quite some time and have a cute little family. So they've got 4 kids. They've got Brooklyn, Romeo, I can't believe I've memorized this, Cruz, and Harper. So 3 boys, 1 girl. But their oldest son, Brooklyn got engaged to an American actress, Nicola Peltz, in July of 2020, and that's like honestly when a lot of this drama starts. And it started with the freaking wedding. So the couple got engaged in July of 2020 and they got married in April of 2022. And immediately as like things came out about the wedding, fans were like debating and like upset that Nicola wasn't wearing a Victoria Beckham dress because Victoria Beckham has like a whole fashion line. And it was something that like Nicola had said in the press, like, I'm really excited, I'm gonna wear this. And then like on the day just like wasn't wearing it. And to be honest with you, like as an outsider, I'm like, she didn't have to wear her mother-in-law's dress. Like I don't like if she wanted to, cool. But like I feel like the drama is just kind of dumb
Yeah.
because I'm like, well, what if she just wanted to wear something else? Like I felt like that was fabricated or whatever. But then in the media, people asked her about it, and she did say she was planning on wearing it, but apparently Victoria's team couldn't make the dress in time. So she had to go with the second dress. So that's what she said. And that's interesting in itself. Like, whatever, let that be. I hate that we all know it, but whatever. Weddings have drama, okay? Then there was more wedding drama that came out a few months after, and it was a freaking stupid rumor that apparently Mark Anthony hijacked like the first dance. So he was like on stage going to sing their first dance song, and her, like Nicola and Brooklyn were going out. But apparently, before singing, he asked Brooklyn to come up on stage and then announced, quote, "The most beautiful woman in the room tonight, come on up, Victoria Beckham." And which obviously, and these are all, these are rumors. These are from people who say they were there. But
That's
like,
hilarious.
and then it was the mother-son dance, and it was just like, obviously.
Before the first.
Yeah. So I don't know. I wasn't fucking there. But these are like two of the rumors that have come out. One feels like semi-confirmed from Nicola. So it kind of felt like for 2022, the story just like kept coming up. Like there'd be a new rumor that Nicola was crazy with the wedding planning and she was a terror and the Beckhams didn't like that or whatever. It just like kept coming. But then truly from like 2023 to 2025, the family was just like, no. Like anytime anyone asked about it, they were like, this isn't true. There's no drama. They would post photos of them like dancing on family vacations. It honestly seemed like everything was fine. Like Nicola even wore like a whole set to like her movie premiere, and it was all Victoria Beckham. Like they seemed like things were fine. Okay, not I guess until like the past couple months. So now there's more drama. It's probably some of the headlines that you've seen, Arison. So I guess there was a report that two of the Beckham brothers were fighting over an ex-girlfriend. So like older brother and second older brother. The second older brother, Romeo, apparently was dating this girl, and people are claiming that the girl also dated Brooklyn at some time, and there's like tension.
For
But
like
then
a week, probably.
yeah, and then third brother popped in an Instagram comment and was like, "This is not true. Like, Brooklyn never dated her," which is like crazy that your brother's like confirming this in a comment of things. But like, there's been some Instagram drama there, so who knows what happened? But apparently, it's not true. I don't know. But then the drama was reignited once again because David Beckham, which is kind of crazy, he turned 50, had a bunch of birthday
Still hot.
celebrations. Still hot. Yeah, still so hot.
Respectfully, Victoria, but still hot.
No, respectfully. Like, he had.
Okay, Daddy.
Like, no. I would never say that. So, apparently, I was going to say, apparently, Daddy. Apparently, he had a bunch of celebrations, which included some, like, family time celebrations, and then also, like, very public, like, very famous people came. And Nicola and Brooklyn weren't in any of the pictures, weren't posting anything, whatever. And, like, that, again, I'm trying to take, like, an even stance here. Like, they live in a whole ass other country. So like, sure, it sucks to admit, like, it'd be great for you to be there for your dad's 50th birthday. But like, if there were scheduling conflicts, what if one of them got sick on vacation? Like, what if they couldn't make it, So I'm trying to be like open-minded about that. But again, eagle-eyed fans out there were like, whenever they've missed an event in the past where like the whole family's getting together, the Beckham family always includes them, like in a caption, like, "We love you, family," and tags all of them. They didn't even get any of that. Like, it was like complete ice out situation, which is just interesting. So like that happened. Then kind of like around the same time, there was like Instagram comment drama happening with the brothers as well. Like, so there was the first Instagram drama. Now there's more Instagram drama, which is apparently, so again, second oldest brother Romeo had dated this girl Mia for a long time. They broke up. It doesn't seem like there's any bad blood with the family. She posted an Instagram photo in the last couple of like weeks. Nicola commented, "So beautiful, Mia," with like a pink heart and a sparkle emoji. Well, the youngest brother, Cruz, then went and posted the exact same fucking comment, like heart emoji sparkle, on his brother's post. So beautiful, Romeo. Like, clearly making fun of Nicola or whatever. Right?
I love it.
I like
Good old,
Cruz.
this is like good old family like drama shit. I'm here for it. Like siblings
Exactly.
go.
Like this is like the shit your brother would do. You know what I mean? Like you're like fuck
The
off.
youngest brother too.
The youngest brother, and
youngest
you're like,
does
"What are
not
you
give a
trying to
fuck.
start shit in the public, Cruz?" He's like, "Well, I thought it was funny."
Well, I thought it was funny. So then this is so crazy to me. Brooklyn posts this is so crazy. Posts a video of him and Nicola riding a motorcycle, and this is the caption. My whole world, X. I will love you forever, X. I always choose you, baby, X. You're the most amazing person I know, XX. Me and you forever, baby, heart, heart. Which is just like
Kisses?
What? Yeah, I
just
guess.
like heart, heart.
No,
Like,
but the
I've-
X is kisses. Is that what it
Yeah,
was?
apparent maybe. Like I don't. I would make fun of my brother if he posted that too. I'm sorry. That's weird. Like I don't know. So obviously there's something off. Like I feel like sure I don't think any of us really know what the real reason is. Maybe there is some drama that happened at the wedding. Weddings are crazy. Like they just fucking are. So it would be legit if there was some wedding drama that they all got over, but maybe the family just doesn't gel or something's off or maybe Brooklyn is the drama. Who knows? But I am curious like why the fuck the brothers are like airing it out kind of secretly like there is, but there's not, like just like why are they doing that? Like it's giving 20-year-old boys for sure.
Right.
But also I will say there are like some other like inside people who are saying that there's been like something like tension for a while and then they quote said because David and Victoria don't treat their son properly
Which
and like
son?
Nicola has
Oh,
Brooklyn
Brooklyn.
like and that like Nicola has been the only one calling them out. And apparently she's like the first romantic partner to like put her foot down and they don't like it, which I was just like, okay.
That's really interesting.
It's
really interesting.
It's really interesting. And then like they also said that like Nicola and Brooklyn haven't made themselves like available, so they're just like I think kind of going cold turkey. And I guess Victoria and David are like, okay, so they're just like not, yeah, they're just like not reaching out. And so it's just whatever. I don't know. This is where we are today. I don't think there's much more. I will say the like shady Instagram I have been kind of living for. It's fucked up.
It's hilarious.
I think it's shitty, but it is really fucking funny. What are your thoughts? Do you have any theories on what the fuck is going on? Or like, what do you think there's any, maybe they're both are bad. I don't know. What do you think?
I just find it interesting that the bottom line is that they feel like Brooklyn isn't being treated well by his parents when I feel as though they've given him a lot of privileges in life. And it's really interesting that he thinks he's not being like supported when he's had so much support in all of his failed endeavors. Like they still continue to support him. So and he's the eldest son. Like I remember watching a documentary where they were like, you are our world. Like he was the firstborn. And I think either David left a game or something like that, like a big game to come make sure that he was at his birth. So
yeah,
that's just a really yeah, like, but it was like a really really big game. I don't know. I think he left, but yeah, I would hope so too. But so it's just I just find that really interesting that that's the spin on the story that like oh he's not being supported in any way or his family's not treating him well. I think maybe can't say whether or not they are or not, but just from like what we're able to access, what information we're able to access, it seems like he is very well supported by his family. They don't seem like folks that would be like, no, we don't care for you, but maybe she's like she's the reason why. And I don't want to put it on her, but like sometimes that just happens. Like, right? There's no gel. You don't gel. He has chosen like his partner is what matters the most to him, and that's taken him away from like being able to connect with his family, and that happens, I guess, sometimes. But I just find it really interesting that the spin is that his family doesn't care about him when I
Yeah.
feel like they've only shown that they do.
I also just think it's hilarious when media makes such a big deal of like a fucking
It's
common
family.
ass shit, which
I
is like
know, I
family
know.
fucking drama. I'm like,
Is this real
like,
life?
show me a family that doesn't have family drama, and I'm like, I don't believe you.
That's not real. You're right.
I was
It's
like, that's
true.
not fucking
It's
real.
true.
Have you never, like, I know we all have siblings. I'm like, I love my brother dearly, and there has been times when I haven't been talking to that motherfucker, and I have been shady as shit, and like, you know, like
Speaking as the youngest sibling
whatever.
too, like Cruz, I feel you. Like I would be doing the same exact shit.
The instigator of shit, and like, I'm the older sibling, so I've been like, what the fuck? So like for me, I think it's just like funny. It's like this all may be true, this all may be false, and like literally, I'm like, and welcome to family
Families.
dynamics.
Yeah, it's just
Like-
family dynamics
like,
on display for everyone.
Yeah, and I think it's like hilarious that, like you said, the younger, you know, siblings are like, okay, let's bring some of our shit out on Instagram. Like,
Yeah.
it's like
I
back
wanna-
in the day of like Facebook status updates where people
Yeah.
were
Oh my
like,
God.
oh, it feels like a black coffee, like rain type of day. Or so you're like,
Yeah.
what's going on? Are you
On the
okay?
comments, are you okay?
I don't
want
need
to know what
anyone but
Harper
me.
thinks.
I want
That's
to know
who
what
I
Harper
wanna know.
thinks too.
Isn't she still young?
I think she's in her teens.
Yeah,
Is
like
she like
think.
15 or
I
16?
don't think she's that old, is she?
I don't know. Let's Google.
Harper.
Yeah.
How old?
I
is
mean, I know
Harper?
she's like the baby, and she's also the.
Oh, she's 11.
Yeah, she's young.
She's 11?
Yeah.
No, she's 13.
They're 13.
Still
Which
young.
is like not that crazy, but I will say one thing that like I'm not buying this, but I think it's interesting that some people were commenting, or like I think a couple reports, because I had to go to like a bunch of different like news reports to like see what the fuck was going on. There's all kinds of rumors. But one person was saying, like, if you do watch the docuseries with the Beckhams, I really enjoyed it, but it also made me sad because, like, there's all of the cheating allegations from David, how he's unfaithful to Victoria. And then you kind of get a side of him where he's also, like, cleaning and a neat freak. And I just wonder, like, how some of those things may have impacted, like, the
100%.
oldest son, right? And so I just wonder, like, is there anything there that, like, maybe the truth is like those two just didn't also have the best relationship, and it's just coming, they're like, maybe the family is putting some type of blame on Nicola, who is helping him like navigate this in a way that the family hasn't historically done before. I don't know. I mean, he has gotten a lot of privileges. There is one thing to say, like, if people just throw money at you, that's a financial support. But if they're not giving you the emotional or like respect, are you really getting that far ahead? Because you're not developing the way other people are.
Yeah. And I will say, like, I think it's important to know their ages. Like, Brooklyn, the oldest, is 26 now.
So young.
So he got engaged when he was like 21.
Yeah.
And then you've got the Romeo's 22, and then Cruz is 20. So, and then you've got almost 10 years, like, so they're all really young.
They're
And they
so
all like
I
were
mean-
raised in a very public family with a dad that, like, you can love your kids, and doesn't mean you don't fuck up your kids.
Yeah, it's true.
Right. Yeah, I mean, Brooklyn's prefrontal cortex just developed. Like, it just formed, like fully formed.
Just got
So,
there.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it's not
I get it.
surprising. Like you say, family dynamics, and they're also young boys trying to figure out their lives. So,
So I guess we'll see.
We'll see.
I'm kind of hoping for a couple more comments. I don't know.
Yeah, living for the
let's go,
the shady
Cruz.
comments.
Come on.
Well, I feel like this is a good transition into our last topic, which is how women specifically are portrayed in the media. And this is, I know we've talked about this before in the past, and it's always present, but I've noticed it coming back up, or my anger towards it, I should say, my passion towards it has come back up with the kickoff of WNBA season. So,
Okay.
I actually went to a Storm game last night with my girls, my
love
sixth
that
grade girls, and that was absolutely lovely. But
Her
what
team, not her daughters.
all of my sixth grade my basketball team.
I've got
Thank
13
you.
daughters.
I've got 13 sixth grade. No.
That's why I started this podcast. Make a little residual income. That's right.
So with the girls I coach. I'm glad that I needed to do that clarification just in case someone was confused. But what really kicked this off for me wanting to talk about this is of course, the Angel Reese, Caitlin Clark of it all. And I know we've talked, yes.
I don't
and
think it's
I know
ever going to go.
it's not going to go away, but I think hopefully I'm doing a different angle a little bit more is the idea of a lot of how media is like media coverage really is still how they talk about women's sports. So not just like how the coverage and like media airtime, like that's still, we're still working on that. Like, you know, women are still only getting 15% of sports media coverage is focused on women, and that's growing. It's grown a lot over the years. But what I'm talking about is this idea of how when you see headlines, how you see headlines for men and men's teams versus how you see headlines for women and women's teams. And this is on both the individual sports levels like tennis, gymnastics, and this is like team sports. So there's really this idea, and it as a female athlete that is super fucking competitive. I did taekwondo and I did basketball. It absolutely drives me wild is when you see women competing at their highest level of sports and they are competitors, they still have this double standard of needing to be a nice girl. And if they're not the nice girl, then they get like vilified. And then that turns into, you know, how they get attacked in media, you know, with the Angel Reese, you know, there's a lot of races, like all that stuff comes up. But what I'm talking about is this idea of you're not allowed to not like someone. You're not allowed to be competitive. And if you show that, then all of a sudden there's something wrong with it. So what happened like recently in a game was the Chicago Sky, Indiana Fever, Caitlin Clark it got graded to a flagrant foul. They kind of like went at each other a little bit. Game over.
Her, Angel Reese and her?
Yeah, and Caitlin Clark.
Okay.
Yeah. But then at the end of the game, both of them were like, it was a basketball move, but it got sensationalized in the media. And this idea,
well, they're competing.
Exactly.
Like, they
so
want to win.
And I think that's where we see this idea of like, I don't like people still don't understand how often they're doing it to women. So like this idea of you're not like you have to be friends with everyone. I'm sorry, but there are times, especially when I'm playing basketball, where I want like I've had to hold people back so they don't knock the person's like face off on the other team. And that's part of the game. Now, is there like some sportsmen, is it sometimes a little shady? Sure. But it's part of the game. Like I've done some shady shit and people have done some shady shit to me and I'll get pissed off. And then at the end of the game, I might talk some shit. And then guess what? That is part of sports.
Yeah.
Because when you look at the men's game, specifically at basketball, that shit is celebrated. And I think that's where
we talked about baseball and
it's
hockey.
Celebrated. Like I was just even seeing there was a headline because Pacers making it to the finals, and the headline was celebrating that Tyrese Halliburton and the Pacers organizations were trolling the Knicks and how funny it is how they were shading the Knicks. And that was a sports news headline in celebrating and saying how funny that is. Now, if that was being done by saying Angel Reese when she did like in the face, she got attacked so hard for doing that exact same thing. Like it's happened too. So there's like the nice girl image, and then there's this image that in order for people that like want to watch women's sports, they need to see the like, I need to understand their fashion and their like personal life, and like let's talk about emotions and all this stuff. And sure, that could be a part of sports and be a draw in, but when women are interviewed versus when men are interviewed, they're asked 10 times more about their looks, about like their diets, about all these things that men aren't like. And if they show any kind of emotion than the standard, like for example, like Serena Williams in tennis, like it was like outbursts, or Coco Gauff when she was like was in tears, was like, oh, she was overly emotional. When we look at even how people treated Simone Biles when she withdrew from the Olympics, about her mental health, yes, that conversation may have come around to be more healthy, but it took a lot of time and her needing to completely step back before we was like, let's have some healthy conversations around this. So that has even happened. We've seen it with, for example, the U.S. women's national team soccer team, which was like a powerhouse in 2019. They won the World Cup and they like just were powerhouses, but they got said they were too cocky, they were disrespectful for their celebrations, and the men didn't even qualify. And at the same time, we have sports like football where celebrations and like having like the craziest celebration is literally part of the culture of the sport. So I think we really need to be mindful when we're talking about sports, especially if you are talking about women's sports on a sport that you do not know. Is if you start talking about them as like people and like how you think it's disrespectful sports, I want you to say like, would you be having the same conversation if this was men, if this was male sports? Like, because what we see is men are often seen as powerful, strategic, dominant, confident. Women are emotional, graceful. It's cat fights. Like when you see some of the top NBA, like you got Draymond Green, you have like Anthony Edwards, like all those people are so fucking cocky and like instigators, like fight, like will do dirty ass shit, and then that's part of their persona, and that's like celebrated.
Well, and part of it can just be the way you show up to play the game. Like,
Yeah.
sometimes you just like you have to go into a mindset where you're like, fuck everybody, because that's how you get competitive. It doesn't mean that's how you are off the court.
Yeah.
Like, why are we translating that to that as like a personality trait of somebody?
Exactly. And I think so that this was just like this like call out where yes, there's a lot of growth in women's sports and yes, it's really great, but women still are expected to be perfect and they are expected to have this like be competitive, be the best, be a nice girl, don't make us uncomfortable, don't have any emotions that you know or that are anger, frustration. You're allowed to cry because that's a very like you know female emotion, things like that. So this is like my PSA. I just wanted to talk about this.
I love it.
As a story because it's happening again as the WNBA is kicking off. And I think we just really have to be mindful of the media we consume and then how we're talking about how women play in whatever sport, especially when we haven't had experience in that sport and are trying to discredit like women's competitive edge.
Nature.
I also feel like I don't know what the hell happened in this game between the two of them, but like if it was some type of like move that was whatever, I don't understand why people watching that are surprised that it's happening. Like if we're constantly talking about them going head to head, you have to think that those players ingest that at some point and want to win and want to like do whatever it takes. So I don't get why it's surprising that we may see a little more like rough. That's why everyone's tuning in. So why is it like, sure, we can talk about it and say like, oh my God, did you see that? But you're not going to be like, well, that was extremely dirty on whoever's part.
I think what it is too, and what adds fuel to the fire, and unfortunately, is that I think we've mentioned this too before, is that a lot of Caitlin Clark fans are not fans of the sport. Like they've tuned in because of her, which is great. She's bringing in a lot of viewership, but they haven't necessarily watched the sport in the same way, like Arison, you were saying, like you've never played it, you never understood it, you never watched it. So like they are obviously, it's like I'm backing my people, like backing my family, and they're just fans of one person and not necessarily of the sport. So I think
that's where we gotta be careful. We got to be careful too, though, because we're trying to be that podcast that brings people in. It's just this is a good PSA of like how to talk about it, because we can't say just because you don't play, you don't get it, and you're never going to get it. But like how we talk about it,
Yeah, that's
let's
what
change
it is.
that conversation.
It's like understanding the nuance of the entire circumstance, right? Like it is a sport. There's competitive edge, and I also feel like when we talk about like women in a negative way when they show their competitive edge or like you were saying their anger or their like frustration on the court, it's really dismissive of like the whole range of emotions. We allow men to show those things, but women cannot. And why is that the case? Like, why can't we we're not looking at women then as humans in this sport, playing a sport, when we're not allowing them to showcase their entire range of emotions when they play, whether it's winning or losing.
Yeah. Or showing no emotion. I think too, there's this thing of like, oh, they don't care.
Yes.
Or if you don't show
Yeah.
the
Like a
right
double-edged
emotion.
sword.
Yeah. And so there's like this, Nike did their their Super Bowl ad of like, they don't
anyway.
want you to dominate, but do it anyways. At the same time, Nike itself has had the same issue of how they support women athletes. So I think it's to the point of like support. If you don't know, that's great, ask. But I think anytime, especially when you take it from the sport to then the critique on the individual player
That's
level,
weird. Yeah.
you've got to really be like, are you critiquing how they're like play as an individual, or are you critiquing off of this one instant, like you didn't even watch the game and you didn't even watch, like, Caitlin Clark, what she did, she intentionally did that foul. I like that is such a basketball thing of like, even if it wasn't a close game, whatever, you're like, fuck that. Like, just let me just smack your arm. Okay, it's a flagrant.
Even I know that. Okay.
but it's like that's not like a move that no one's ever done in basketball.
No.
And does it mean that maybe she could have been like annoyed and been like, fuck that, fuck you, you're not scoring on me? Sure. But like,
maybe she wanted to do it for the team, but the team needed to do it for the next play.
But it's also like, I don't like, all of a sudden you're also not allowed to have like feelings towards, like, when you're a player, there are certain players, and especially if it's like drawn up, and I'm not saying this, this is how they're feeling, but like, I know when I'm playing against certain people, there's certain people that just like rub me the wrong way and piss me off and rile me up. And so I'm going to be playing a little bit more dirt. Like, I could do a clean foul or be like, whatever, or I could be like, and fuck you. Like, that's just, guess what? That's sports.
Yeah, that's true. And it makes you wonder. The last thing I'll say, it makes you wonder, like, how much of it is stifling the game? Because if they didn't have to like constantly monitor themselves as well, of like, how am I being perceived right now? Am I showing too much aggression? Can I do this move like I would just at the gym or whatever? How much is it changing the game?
Well, then they're not playing as freely as they probably would.
Well, and I think too, this idea of that stuff gets covered, and then the regular competition side doesn't get covered. So like, when I open the ESPN app, for example, and WNBA were very active, I have to scroll down past college sports, college things before I get to the WNBA. The only time WNBA you're getting headlines is when they make something like that and sensationalize that and make it a story. So it's definitely portrayed within the media, and it's not the individual level. So it's like, how about we start making like more stories up, instead of like making those stories like the ones that are actually like being featured on top of the apps.
Well, to underscore that even more, right? With the Knicks being kicked out, or like losing in this final Eastern Conference round, there were so many headlines around, oh, New York has not made it to the final or the championships of their respective sport in however many years. When I think we've mentioned before, all of the women's teams in the greater New York area have either made it to the championship or won. Just underscoring, like, they just are dismissing not only their full range of emotions, but the fact that there are winners. So even when you're doing well, it's not mentioned. So I think it's just more of an indictment of the entire kind of approach to women's sports as a whole, which I think, Aracent, is your point. The way that media is portraying it is not good either way. Like, they're not portraying it the way that they could be, and I feel like that's to your point, Chelsea, hindering the games. Yeah. Anyway, we can talk about this all day, I feel, and this is really the point of our conversation here. The whole podcast. But we're gonna probably wrap for today. Let us know what stories you want us to cover for next week or moving forward.
And don't forget to hit follow and subscribe to our show on Spotify, YouTube, and Apple, and turn on the notifications so you can stay up to date on all the latest sport and society stories.
And please rate the pod, but in the meantime, stay sharp, stay sassy, and we'll catch you later.